Messi now. Everyone on the edge of their seats. Messi going for goal!
Join the fun, the excitement, the build-up to the World Cup, Russia 2018. Join Sam and Bayo right here on this station as they review notable World Cup moments, participating teams, individual players, coaches, match officials, and many more. You don't want to miss Russia Roundup with your hosts Sam and Bayo right here on this station.
At last, Wayne Rooney has scored and the World Cup. It's an own goal. Brazil are behind off Marcelo. A nightmare start for the host nation.
4 times world champions, Germany, also called Die Mannschaft, are leading a very tough group in Group F that also has the L3. Also, they have the Sweden national team and, of course, Korea Republic. Korea Republic is remembered for their huge heroics at the 2002 FIFA World Cup, co-hosted by them and Japan. They went all the way to the semi-finals of that tournament in Korea-Japan 2002. It is on this very exciting note I'm welcoming you to another episode of your show, our show, the Russia Roundup, with myself, Bayo and Arashi, and I'm always very pleased to be here with my main man, Sam Mbono. How you doing, my man?
Man, Bayo.
Good to see you again,
Good
man.
to see you back on the show.
Good to see you again. How have you been?
Great. You know, you can see me with my Cowboys hat. It's radio time here in Houston, Texas. So
that was going to be my next question. That you are very known with your style and all of that. So what's going on around us now? We know we're in Texas. Of course, that's where this show airs from all the time. We are live at the Vineyard Television studio right here in Houston, Texas. And Sam Houston, as is famously known, is always on the show, showing his style every time on the show. So Sam, what's going on?
Yeah, it's radio time in Houston, so everybody, you know, is in that spirit. It's called Houston Livestock Show. We are farmers, you know, showcase their livestock, be it goat, sheep, horse, bull, and stuff like that. So
and the dangerous part of the bull, throwing them around, and of course, we know some people have been murdered in the past.
Yeah, I was there last night with my wife, you know, for the rodeo. So it's rodeo time. So that's why you see every, you know, Texan or Houstonian all dressed in their Cowboys gear. But it's Russia Roundup. It's time for soccer, and we are right here at Vineyard TV, 15.8. Houston, Texas, to bring to our esteemed viewers all the information they need to know about the 2018 FIFA World Cup.
You heard me saying at the beginning of the show that Die Mannschaft. I mean, hearing of that name alone,
German machine.
Die Mannschaft. We all know what a shaft is.
Crankshaft.
And of course, when you hear that word, you just have to be scared. And they are the current world champion and, of course, the champions of the FIFA Confederations Cup.
Yeah.
We saw what they did last year in Russia. The Confederations Cup, as we all know, is also used to test the stadium that will be used at the FIFA World Cup prior to every FIFA World Cup year. And last year, Germans actually came with a second team, believe it or not. Joachim Löw also did something very unbelievable that last year, bringing in some not so famous German players from different leagues across the world to that tournament, and they still went all the way
to win it,
to win the Confederations Cup, beating Chile 1-0 in the final.
You know what that shows?
Yes.
That Germany, as a soccer playing nation, they have depth in squad. You know, the national team coach Joachim Löw, you know, have problem of choice. And so he can dig deep and bring out players that can win games for him. So that's a good one. Even when Miroslav Klose retired from the national team, being the all-time top scorer for the German national team, but we are saying who will take over the mantle from Klose. But guess what? Guess what? They have a player from RB Leipzig called Timo Werner. You know,
well, it was at the Confederation.
He was there,
and he was free scoring guy.
He showed the talent he's made of. Timo Werner. You know, he 10 caps, 7 goals for Germany already.
I mean, what else do you want from a striker than that? Of course, as we were saying, on June the 17th at the Luzhniki Stadium in Russia, it's going to be the opening game of that Group F. everybody's, including FIFA themselves, and including us on the show already says the Germans should have it smooth in this group. But we all know the way the game is. It's not always the way you always presume it's going to be. But of course, Germans should have it easy. But they have their opener against the El-Tri, the Mexican national team, on Sunday, 17th June. Sam, what is your expectation for that particular game? Remember, at the Confederations Cup, both teams met, and the result is not something that I'm sure the Mexicans want to remember. It was 4-1, but something very, very good happened in that particular game. I think one of the best goals of that championship in the Confederations Cup was scored by the Mexican, almost a 40-yard goal by the Mexican midfielder, but that might not be the same at this World Cup. What do you think is going to happen on that day, Germany versus Mexico? I
mean, if you have asked me who do I think may win the World Cup, on my number one list is Germany.
Of course, being the number one team in the world.
Being number one team, ranked number one. And if you, like you rightly said, that Joachim Löw came to the Confederation Cup in Russia with a different set of players.
Entirely.
And that shows that the national team of Germany, they have depth in squad. You know, ever since Manuel Neuer has been out with injury, we've seen Kevin Trapp and Marc-Andre Stegen, lay claim to that post. And they have done decently well for the national team. So now that gives Joachim Löw a little bit of headache in between the stick, but nevertheless, Manuel Neuer is still their number one.
The main man.
Ever since Philipp Lahm retired, we've seen someone plugged up that right back to show the depth in squad, the plethora of talent the national team has. So that game against Mexico, you asking me to tell you what the scoreline is going to be?
What do you think is going to be?
You think the Mexicans have enough in their inventory to stop the Germans?
I mean, the reason
is that what you want to know?
The reason why I have to say that is, Sam, you know that when it comes to the FIFA World Cup, I said it earlier that you can always say on paper that this team will be ahead, but we know all the 32 teams that will be attending the World Cup qualified. They played a very tough qualification to qualify. So I'm asking you, like you rightly said earlier, that who do you think was going to have the day? I'm sure you're going to say Germany, right?
I mean, every soccer pundit across the globe
will give it to the Germans.
Will give it to the diamond shaft, whatever they call them.
It's actually longer than that, but that's what they said. Okay, I mean, for you not to even knock your teeth off, just call us diamond shaft.
The German national team. But when you now look at players, at their disposal, I wonder how the El-Tri, can cope. When Lahm retired, Joseph Kimmich of Bayern Munich slot in the right back, and he has felt comfortable in that position. We have Shakodri Mustafi, we have Jerome Boateng and Matt Hummel. This gives Joachim Löw, choices to make at his back. Then you going forward, you have Leon Goretzka, who just made a switch from Schalke to Bayern Munich. You have Leroy Sané of Manchester City.
I mean,
he's doing amazingly well. You have Toni Kroos.
It's a squad of all stars.
You have Thomas Müller. So how do you think the Mexican national team can stop this attacking force of Germany? With Joachim Löw in charge, I don't say anything 3 points from Germany. Okay,
you heard it from Sam right there, and I also definitely believe in that. Mind you, that this German team, like I said, have been in the World Cup. They have won the FIFA World Cup 4 times.
4 good times.
And they have attended 8 straight World Cup finals. I mean, that's a very, very, very good record that any team might not be able to beat anytime soon. Of course, let us whet your appetite a little bit by bringing you that game at the FIFA Confederations Cup last year between the German machine, the Die Mannschaft, and of course the El-Tri, the Mexican football national team. Of course, that game ended 4-1, but you need to see the goal, and of course watch out for that striker Sam mentioned earlier, winner from the German Bundesliga team RB Leipzig. We'll be back. It's still Russia Roundup with Bayo and Rashi, and of course Sam Mbono.
This is Russia Roundup with Sam and Bayo.
Welcome back to the show. It is still Russia Roundup on Vineyard Television right here in Houston, Texas, USA. And my name is Bayo and Arashi. If you're just joining us on the show, I am here with Sam Mbono, and this is how we do it every Saturday evening on Vineyard Television right here in Houston. Sam, earlier we talked about the first game, Germany versus Mexico. Right now, we're looking at the second game of that same day. And of course, that same group, Sweden versus Korea Republic, also known as South Korea. They are known for some of the finest electronics that we have used in the world and some best cars the world has ever seen in South Korea. But of course, they are heroic in this beautiful game in soccer. Their biggest moment actually was when Guus Hiddink, the Dutch legend, handled that team at the Korea-Japan 2002 FIFA World Cup. Even the country did not give them too many chances because they've not had it. They've actually not won any big game at the FIFA World Cup prior to that time. But believe it or not, the Korean team went all the way to the semi-finals, defeating some great European teams. The Portuguese team had at that time the second best player in the world, Luis Figo, in that particular squad. They defeated them. The Italian Azzurri had the best squad. They had the best goalkeeper in the world that time. Of course, they were also defeated. And of course, they also defeated the Spanish. That was actually when the golden generation of the Spanish started coming up. They were also beaten. It took Michael Ballack's Germany, this same diamond shaft, to stop the South Koreans. And of course, the Swedish had their best time at the World Cup at the USA 1994 World Cup. They also went all the way to the semi-finals. Sam, this is going to be a very big battle. Sweden against Korea. Nothing is left undone by these two teams. The Koreans have done something after that heroics of 2002. The captain of that squad at the 2002 World Cup is still the head coach of that Korea team right now. What do you think is going to happen on that day? Of course, Sweden not having Zlatan Ibrahimovic anymore doesn't stop them from doing some destruction to that Korea team and of course to that Group F.
Yeah, like you rightly said, Korea, they did what they did in 2002 World Cup when they co-hosted. No one gave them a chance.
No.
Prior to that World Cup, they've never won a game in the FIFA World Cup, and they went ahead to prove every football pundit wrong. They beat Portugal, they beat Spain, they beat Italy.
Yes.
And it took Turkey to stop them from winning the bronze medal.
The bronze medal, yes.
After they lost to Germany in the semi-final. So, but a lot have happened since 2002 to 2018. That's a long time ago.
16 years.
16 years ago. So things have changed. The dynamics of the game have changed. And now the game, the way the game has developed in Asia prior to that 2002 World Cup
has also changed.
And Korea League has also changed in terms of quality of players that come into that league, either from Korea or from neighboring Asian countries. But the fact remains that Sweden is still, I would call them not so much a powerhouse in European soccer now, but they still a force to reckon with. Because, the second highest goal scorer in the UEFA qualifiers for the World Cup is a Swede. Is a Swede, Marcus Berg. 16 goals from 11 games. And he played in Al Ain in the UAE League. That shows that that national team of Sweden still have it. And remember, they beat Italy in the playoffs to secure a World Cup ticket.
They did.
So on paper
they did that. Not many people gave them that chance. I mean, look at Sweden, Italy. I mean, the difference is big.
They beat Italy one goal to nothing. Let's look at how Sweden qualified. They were in the same group, UEFA Group A, with France, the Netherlands, Bulgaria, Luxembourg, and Belarus.
That wasn't an easy group.
It wasn't an easy group. France qualified automatically 23 points from 10 games, while Sweden amassed 19 points from 10 games, and they, scored a total of 17 goals.
That's decent.
And they lost only 3 games, drew 1 and won 6. So Sweden, they are not that a bad team, But now, can they transform that their, qualification mode to the World Cup proper? If you ask me, in that group that have Germany, South Korea, Mexico, and Sweden, I think this group is the group that we can actually call group of death.
We've had many group of death at this World Cup.
We've had, but the one that we've seen before is not going to be as competitive as this group F.
But remember, Sam, that the Germans, as we have said,
the Germans are already taking the first spot.
They would definitely qualify from that group.
They're taking the first spot.
The choice, the second fight, and the battle in that group will be who will be the second team that will go to the second round from that group. Because the first games of both teams would definitely have a lot to do. I as much as I believe that the Mexicans have a bad record against the German machine, I'm sure they're also going to give themselves a chance on that day.
Germany will beat Mexico.
They can do something.
Germany will beat Mexico.
But they know that the first game have a lot to do with whatever their entire result at the tournament is going to be.
Turn out to be.
But of course, asking you a direct question now, Sweden, Korea, what do you think is going to happen that day? It looks like a team that are on the same level. If you ask me, they look like they're on both on the same level. But looking at the tough way the Swedish qualified for the World Cup, they might have a very slight edge. You think Sweden will take it that day?
I think they will take it. I'll give it to Sweden. Rank 11 in the world, rank 18th in the world, 11 World Cup appearances. They have that World Cup experience, and they have the players that can, edge it for them against South Korea. So I'll give it to Sweden. Even though Zlatan is no more in the mix, but they have other players too, that can do big things for them in Zlatan's absence.
The challenge though is, we could easily mention one or two top players with the German team, but we cannot do exactly the same with both of these teams. Even the Mexican team, we can always talk about Chicharito with West Ham for them. And of course,
Chicharito doesn't start game for West Ham.
Yeah, but we know that he's actually a top player, and
for national team.
And on his day, he can deliver them. But these two teams with their not so group of top players, they look like the dark horses, and they might just go on to just do some very, very, very big damage. But I just leave it there right now. And of course, we bring our fans another exciting TV visual for them to see on this show, because as you know, it is a FIFA World Cup show, and of course it is just to bring you back those exciting memories of the FIFA World Cup. And of course, the next item you're going to be seeing on the show is actually the amazing run that the Koreans had at the 2002 FIFA World Cup. Of course, they actually held one of the best World Cup. I remember very, very, very well. I wasn't fortunate to be at the World Cup, but I watched all the way as a young broadcast journalist back then in Lagos. Of course, you need to see how they were flagging their red color across the street. Not only in the stadium were they all showing the red, across the entire street in South Korea, you see big giant screen. They use the opportunity of that World Cup to showcase the power they have with electronics, installing some unbelievable giant screen across the street in Korea for the fans to watch, and you will see the passion the Koreans have. Enjoy it, and of course we'll be back. It is still Russia Roundup with yours truly, Bayo and Sam.
Messi now, everyone on the edge of their seats. Messi going for goal!
Join the fun, the excitement, the build-up to the World Cup, Russia 2018. Join Sam and Bayo right here on this station as they review notable World Cup moments, participating teams, individual players, coaches, match officials, and many more. You don't want to miss Russia Roundup with your hosts Sam and Bayo right here on this station.
At last, Wayne Rooney has scored, and the World Cup. It's an own goal. Brazil are behind off Marcelo. A nightmare start for the host nation.
All right, welcome back to the show. It is still Russia Roundup on this wonderful TV station, and hope you're enjoying our analysis and of course the top information and visuals we're bringing for you on the show. And right now we're looking at those two top European teams. Their clash after the first game. The second game, Germany, the Diamond Shaft, are going to be playing the Swedish, and of course Mexico will be playing against Korea Republic. Sam, the biggest victory the Germans have had at the FIFA World Cup was 16 goals to nothing. And of course it was against this Swedish team, but of course it happened all the way in 1912. This might not happen again. Also, in the qualification prior to the 2014 FIFA World Cup, 16 goals were scored between these two teams. And of course, the Swedish, they've beaten the Germans before by 4-0. Looking at all the stats, do you think the Germans will find it very easy to just dispose the Swedish, or do you think there's a surprise awaiting the Diamond Shaft?
On paper, Germany have what it takes to beat, to rule, to lord over these teams in Group F. But don't forget that soccer is a game of 22 professionals, trying to find a way, to undo each other. And for the fact that these two teams have history together, it's not gonna be an easy game for either of them. Without Zlatan, Sweden is still a solid team. One thing is for you to have talent and big names. The other thing for you to play as a unit, and that's where Sweden, come into play. They play as a unit. Difficult to break down. They see deep. You saw them against Italy. Italy came out with everything they had. The first leg ended goalless. Now, the second leg, the Swedes had the chance and they buried it, and that was it. That settled the game. So this is the kind of team, that Sweden is. But for Germany, they come all out because they have the attacking talent, to come out with Timo Werner, with Thomas Müller coming at you. In the middle, you have Toni Kroos, Sami Khedira. On the left and right back, you have to choose from. You have people to choose from.
The option is
it's endless for Germany. But I see them edging Sweden a little bit because of the depth in squad they have.
And
more
remember,
than
Joachim
Sweden.
Löw doesn't really play with Mesut Ozil. I mean, if Mesut looks like, and apologies to all Gunners fans, if he looks like an ordinary player while playing for Arsenal, you need to see him playing for Germany.
For the national team.
He actually dominates that forward position. He has always been ahead of many other attacking midfielder the Germans had.
Yeah.
With those choices that Joachim Löw has for this team, I think they only have it at their hands to just lose that game. Except the only reason why they will lose that game is if they choose not to probably play or choose not to take that game seriously. But they know 9 points is very, very crucial.
Germany have 4 goalkeepers who are number 1 for the team they play for. Manuel Neuer is number 1 for Bayern Munich. Bernard Leno is number 1 for Bayer Leverkusen. Marc-Andre Stegen is number 1 for Barcelona, and Kevin Trapp is number 1 for PSG. These are top European teams. To tell you the talent this national team of Germany have in their disposal. What about Julian Drexler? From Schalke to PSG, we saw how he upped his game for Paris Saint-Germain, doing great things for them. 40 caps for Germany, 6 goals for them. What about Mesut Ozil? 80 caps, 22 goals. He might not be that same player we see in Arsenal, but for the national team, he's in a different world of himself. Even Emre Can, Mario Götze, Eka Godeyan. So Germany, they have it all, bro. I'm telling you. And I see them edging Sweden. But the only way Sweden can try to undo this German team is for them
go man to man.
Man to man. Win all the balls.
Close them down as much as you can. And just hope for the best. Because
show them respect, but don't be scared of them.
Well, that's it for that one. We already give that one to the Germans as well. Of course, the other game earlier on that day will be Korea against Mexico. And remember, we said that in the first game, if the Mexicans are unable to get a decent result against the Germans, which, I mean, I have to agree with you that they don't definitely have a chance against the Germans.
No, they don't.
This will actually be the game for them. Mexico against Korea Republic. 2 different sides that played 2 different games. The Mexicans are from the North America. And of course, the South Korea are all the way from Asia. And as you also said earlier, with the involvement of Asian football, with the projection the Chinese have already to win the FIFA World Cup in the next 10 years, which is very possible, Sam. We're talking about revolution here. You could see with the level of money they are spending, with the players they are attracting, with the fund, with the economy in China, which happens to fall in the Asian part of the world, I see the Asian football really on the rise.
But not to win the World Cup.
But looking at this game, I mean, we'll talk about that probably in the last leg of this episode of the game. Looking at that game, Korea-Mexico, who do you think have the edge on that day? Because if Korea should lose to the Swedish in the first game and the Mexicans should lose to the Germans in the first game, definitely both of them will believe they need a 3 points to put their step on the ground at the World Cup. If not, you will only play 3 matches and you will be on the next flight home.
Mexico, I read their history a little bit, and they've qualified for to 16 World Cups.
That's almost every World Cup.
Almost every World Cup, aside from Brazil, and Mexico is the next team that have qualified for almost every World Cup. 16 World Cups since 1994, making it one of the 6 countries to do so. The national team of Mexico, along with Brazil and Germany, they are the only team that have made it out of the group stage in the last 6 World Cups. So it's a fact. But now they are unfortunate to find themselves in this group. And Mexican football, is on the rise.
It is.
It's on the rise. Giovanni Dos Santos that played for LA Galaxy in the MLS. You will say MLS, but he's a talent.
The two of them actually.
He shows up big for the national team of Mexico. Hugo Gonzalez that played for Montreal, even though he hasn't been capped, but he's doing great things for Montreal. So, but the two teams, this is a World Cup. I see them settling for a draw. Because in their first game, if Sweden should beat Mexico, right, that would have played in the first game, right? And Germany play Korea in the first game. So the two teams, Mexico and Korea, if they record loss in their first games, they will come out as wounded lions trying to salvage anything.
Just want to get anything.
So a draw will be a decent result. Two of them will get.
Well, a draw, Sam said, but I definitely believe, I think the Mexican, the L3, should be able to get a decent 3 points at that particular.
I know some Mexican viewers might be angry that I said this.
And of course, we have a lot of them right here in Houston.
So I said it, but I'm sorry,
But we look forward to that from June. Of course, we take another break now to bring you the Swedish exciting moment. Earlier, you watched the moment that the Koreans had at the 2002 World Cup. Also, for this Swedish national team, the best moment they've had as a national team was right here in the USA in the 1994 World Cup. Not many people remember them, but we do. They actually played a group game against the winner, the eventual winner of that World Cup, Brazil. And Brazil could not beat them. They played that game 1-1. It ended in the group stage at that World Cup. But of course, the Brazilians were the one that stopped them in the semi-finals, eventually for the Brazilians to go to the finals and defeat Italy at that USA 1994 final. Of course, they made the surprise package at that tournament against the Bulgarians. Remember, Nigeria defeated Bulgaria 3-0 at the start of the USA 94 World Cup, but Bulgaria went all the way to the finals, to the semi-finals of that World Cup in 1994. But the Swedish trashed them 4-0 in the third place game to take the third place at the FIFA World Cup. Sam, you don't remember that?
Thomas Brolin. I remember those players.
We'll bring you that moment at that World Cup, and definitely we'll be back on the show.
This is Russia Roundup with Sam and Bayo.
Welcome back to the show. It is Russia Roundup on Vineyard Television. This program is definitely open for sponsorship. For sponsorship details, do contact the producer on the number showing on the screen right now. And as I always say, I myself, Bayo and Sam, we are via social media. You could follow me on all social media platforms at Midas Soccer and Sam at I am Sam Houston on his social media platform. Sam,
I am Sam Bono. On my Twitter, I am Sam Bono. On my Instagram, I am Sam Houston on my Facebook.
So there you have it, Sam Houston on Facebook. Finally, on the show, we are in the final leg of the show. Mexicans, they have had 2 quarterfinals experience at the World Cup. At the 1970 World Cup, and of course when they hosted Mexico 86. And it's been not so good for them since after that time. They've always been out of the group stage after that. After those are heroics for them. In your own summary of this group, their last game will be against the Swedish, and of course the Germans will play Korea. It will be their first meeting since they stopped them at the 2002 World Cup in the semi-final. They will be meeting again at the World Cup in Russia. What do you think is going to happen that day? Who do you think, apart from Germany, we have already given the Germans the edge,
the edge in that group,
to lead that group? Who else is going to be moving up in that group?
I think Germany. Germany will win the group. Sweden, will qualify. Sweden and Mexico may tie on, may have a tiebreaker to determine who qualifies. Sweden and Mexico may tie on the same point, but I think Sweden may go ahead based on a slight goal difference. It's not going to be Germany. Have an easy ride, but in that group, Sweden and Mexico will compete for who will finish a runner-up behind Germany.
Well, Sam already said it's going to be the European affair at the Group F. That means it's going to be Germany and then Sweden. But definitely, I'm not going to be going with that. I definitely think the Mexicans have a very, very good opportunity to do something for themselves in Russia. So I believe Russia will go through at that particular group. Of course, Sam, as we said goodbye on the show this week, the Germans, do you think they can win this World Cup?
I have a top 5 teams that I think can lift the World Cup. Germany have a talent, they play as a unit. That gives them an edge. Number 1. Brazil have a talent, but they don't play as a unit. Yes. And with the injury of Neymar, which they say he will be ready before the World Cup, but Brazil and PSG are going to get into trouble because of Neymar injury. So Brazil have a talent, but not as a unit yet. So Germany talent, unit, number 1, give them an edge. Followed by Belgium. Belgium, which will be in the next episode.
Sam, you think Belgium would definitely Belgium can win the World Cup?
Belgium have the talent, but it will come down to coaching. How can Roberto Martinez and Thierry Henry to bring out the best in Kevin De Bruyne, in Romelu Lukaku, in order of their Belgian talent, Eden Hazard, to make sure that they are up there because they have the talent.
In Vincent Company and
they have the talent. They definitely have look at what KDB is doing at. That will be a discussion for next episode. Let me not spoil.
Okay, so who's your third, fourth, and fourth?
So my 1 is Germany, 2 is Brazil, 3 is Belgium. I'll give Argentina 4. Okay,
and who is the 5th?
Who am I going to give the 5th? Number 5.
Who?
Nigeria.
Okay, I was definitely going to say I do not think Sam is very patriotic.
Nigeria.
There's one of my brother and an ex-international, of course, on Facebook saying that he had this person prophesying to him that our current president in the U.S., Donald Trump, was going to win the U.S. election even when nobody gave him a chance. And he also said this same person have told him that Nigeria will win the FIFA World Cup in Russia 2018. You can see I had a grin on my face.
Tell him he needs to go take his
You can see I'm saying
himself.
That with a grin on my face. But of course, we will see how that goes. We have to go on the show for this week. And of course, it's been very, very exciting. And I've been very, very happy, of course, bringing this episode to you with my main man, Sam. And of course, with our main man, Ayo, behind the camera, taking all the shots, doing all the great job, putting the visuals together for us every week. Thank you so much, AY, for your great work. And of course, that's how we say bye-bye on the show today. But before we go, you need to see the Germans again. Remember the finals at the Confederations Cup last year. They were hosting one of the most talented squad in the entire Americas. That is the Chile. Of course, they did not make it to the FIFA World Cup, unfortunately for them. And of course, I'm not sure we're going to see some players from that Chilean national team against them. We are running behind schedule.
Yeah, we are running behind schedule. On the last note, I think we should do Group Z. Group Z. That have Chile, that have Italy, they have those things that could make it in the World Cup.
We'll definitely consider that on the show. We'll see you next week, God willing. My name is Bayo and Arash, and of course, Sam,
my name is Sam. See you. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye now.
I said I'm okay, I've been better, not sure if it's paradise. this world, left my high rise, looked back and said, oh, though I still believe that there's more to the sunrise. But sometimes I let go, I lose track of the days, I get caught in my high life, no, can't quit till it plays, I call back cause I'm meant to, I lost count of the days, I get caught in the high life, still caught in the high life. Sometimes I let go, I lose track of the days, I get caught in the high life, no, can't quit till it plays, I call back cause I'm meant to, I lose track of the days, I get caught in the high life, still caught in the high life. Will I be your number one? When it's love I'm coming from, never sure of what's to come. Oh, though I'll be okay and get better, I'm not sure I'm satisfied. And there's still some parts of the truth that I hid, but you recognized. But we're looking for keys to this world, left my high rise, looked back and said, oh,